All right, man. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Game. It's episode 22. Man, we got a lot to cover from high school football, college football, and NFL. Man, my Commanders they played some terrible football Thursday. That's all I gotta say. I'm your host Jordan Barrett, joined by the quarterback Brandon Bullens. Man, Brandon, how you doing this morning?
Good man. How's it going? Just excited for another week. Bit like you said, a big week in high school and NFL especially. So excited to dive into those.
Yeah, I'm not. It hasn't been a good week as a football fan for me. We got blown out Thursday. We'll get into that. Colorado got throttled last night, and my only hope is that Alabama is decent today. Hopefully we don't go out there and lay an egg against Wisconsin. But before we get into some of the college stuff, man, last night it was a good night around the state for some high school football. Week 4, man, our game of the week took us up to Charlotte, or down to Charlotte, where the number 3 ranked team in the state, the Hough Huskies, took on the number 16 team, Mooresville Blue Devils. Oh man, it was a good game. Mooresville got on the board first. They in that first quarter, but on the next drive, Huff would come down with an 80-yard run from the quarterback, Ethan Royal. He would tie the game up 7-7 at the end of the first. Mooresville would go on a drive late in the second, then they ended that drive with a 3-yard run, which gave them the lead going into the half. And then after a scoreless third quarter, Mooresville would come out and throw a pick six, and had a touchdown, and Huff would go on to win that game 28-21. Huff is now 4-0. Mooresville falls to 2-2, which also includes a loss that they had to Weddington. Brandon, just what are some of your takeaways from the game, and like what are we looking for going into next week? Because I think Huff they have a game next week against New Bern.
hmm So I'm going to speak from the perspective of Mooresville. You're looking into your season so far. You're a month in and you're 2-2. Not great, not horrible. I mean, you're sitting at 500. But then you look at your two losses, and against Weddington and last night against Huff, those are the two of the better teams in the state. So I think we've mentioned before how important it is for team morale to stay high throughout the season. I think if you're the coach there, you just have to, tell your guys to stick with the system, believe in what we're doing, and we'll end up on the better end of this thing down the line, even though it's not feeling like that right now. But diving back into last night's game, for a quarterback to throw a pick six, I've been there before personally. It's not fun, especially when ultimately it costs you a game.
Yeah, don't call
That's a
jail.
real stinger. So my heart goes out to that kid. I know that sucks, but if anything, once again, it's going to make him better down the line. But shout out to Huff, man. They hung in the game when they were down early, going into halftime losing, and then a couple big plays down in the fourth led him to a win. So shout out to Huff for that.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. It, I want you to speak from the standpoint of, although we know, Brandon, you weren't the most dynamic runner. um, what does it do though when you just have a quarterback, like, for a defense that can take a, like, from the look of it, the defensive edge just got too far upfield, opened up a
Mhm.
rushing lane for the quarterback, and he took it for 80 yards. Like, what does that do to a defense, and even for an offense, when you have a quarterback that has the ability to take a run for 80
Yeah,
yards?
yeah. So from the defensive coordinator standpoint, it adds an entire different level or that entirely different layer of defensive scheme that you have to now worry about that some weeks you may not have to worry about. Um, you know, Especially with a kid like Ethan Royal, who is going to end up being a really big time kid, probably going to go FBS
Yeah,
somewhere. Um,
yeah,
he's very dynamic, like you, excuse me, like you were saying, in terms of his ability to play quarterback. So you can try to roll an extra guy down into the box to try to help plug up those run gaps, but then you're opening up the pass game for a guy like him. So once again, it's really pick your poison on that kind of talent level from the quarterback standpoint as a defensive
yeah,
coordinator. Now,
definitely.
as a defensive player, good luck, man. That kid's athletic. He's going to make you miss. Or
Yeah.
if he does get swallowed up, he's smart enough to slide and live to see the next down. So it's really gonna it's hard for a defense to stop a quarterback like him all the way around.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and after I think Huff to start the season went down to South Carolina, played South Point, got the win. And so I think it's going to be very interesting to see how things kind of play out with the remainder of the season because Grimsley ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
They got some pretty good teams out there in Charlotte and the Mecklenburg area, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Man, but we'll go look at some of the other games from around the state. We had some big time matchups and some scores that you need to know in week 4. Man, Mount Tabor and West. I was thinking that we were going to get a little bit better of a game from Mount Tabor, but West Forsyth would beat them 49-21. Providence Day rolls past Butler. Providence Day came into this game ranked second in the state, and Butler was 23rd, and there was a matchup difference there.
Yeah.
Um, one that I'm not gonna say I was necessarily surprised, but to see only 10 points put up by Reagan against Northern, I think that's tremendous to see Northern bounce back, especially after like that. Just having Jackson on here, he was talking about like their goals and things didn't change after that loss to East, which is good. But with teams with state championship aspirations, one loss can really seem bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
Um, Number 4 Weddington would beat number 19 Crest 31-10. Number 5 Malik Creek handles Myers number 24 Myers Park 20-13. In a game that I really thought was going to be probably the best game in the state, it just wasn't. Cleveland almost puts up 50 on New Bern. Cleveland came into the game ranked 11th, and New Bern was 15th. After New Bern, after their showing against West Craven last week, after their little pregame scuffle, I guess you can call it, um, I just didn't expect them to come out and get beat like that. Um, but Charlotte Catholic goes on to beat Kings. Number 17 Charlotte Catholic went on to beat number 25 Kings Mountain 28-21. Cardinal Gibbons beat Southeast Raleigh 30-22. Brandon, just looking at this, are there any games or scores that kind of stick out to you?
Well, the one that sticks out to me right off the bat is the goose egg on the board from the Providence Day game against Butler. Providence Day, like believe you said they were number 2 ranked in the state right there, but
Yeah,
for Butler to put up 0, even as a
zero.
ranked team,
A goose egg.
that's not a good look at all. I mean,
Goose
big
egg.
props to Providence Day for handling business, but if you're the Butler coaches or the Butler players, you really have to understand like we got to be better. It's okay. It can be okay to take a loss at a time, especially
Yeah.
earlier in the season like this. But to put up 0,
Yeah.
that's tough. That's really bad, and hopefully they can bounce back from that. The other one was I want to touch on the Reagan game against Northern Guilford. Um, I'm pretty connected with a lot of the high schools in the area, um, and I don't know the quarterback at Reagan personally, but rumor is that he's been struggling a lot over there.
Really.
He's had one decent game so far, 4 weeks into the season. So for this kid who's supposed to be, a big time kid, he's actually committed to NC
Committed
State.
to yeah.
I believe as a baseball guy, but either way, it's a D1 player on the field. You would think he would be able to
Yeah.
help Reagan out more than just the 3 points that they had in week 1. Think 10 points week 2. Here we are, 10 points again in week 4. They're
Yeah, they've
struggling.
been struggling. Yeah, they've
Yeah.
been struggling on the offensive side. I want kind of your opinions on this, but as an offensive minded person, I go into a game. My target number is somewhere between 24 and 28 points. Like if my defense can go out there and stop them from scoring more than 24 points, we should be able to go out and put up more than 24 points. So just to see games when you have teams 20 like this 21-10. I just, as an offensive coordinator, you just have to look at your team and just say like, you just have to regroup on some things and look at really find your bread and butter, some things that you're what you can really count on. Um, but just 21-10, you just you what is Monday? You're a quarterback. You go talk to your offensive coordinator. What is that like? Or you sit down in a meeting, film. You know that's a tough film session, only scoring 10 points.
Oh,
But like
for
you
sure.
go, what is that like? That session with whether it's the quarterback, I mean whether it's the receivers in there also or running back or just whole offenses. What is that meeting like? Just
Yeah.
between you
So
guys?
that's a very good question. For me personally, in my experience, it who you are in the quarterback room, it's okay to be different than who you are in front of the team. And I'm gonna
Oh,
explain
I
what I mean
agree.
by that. You
Yeah.
you don't want a coach in front of the team blaming the quarterback, blaming the quarterback. That's gonna make them have even less faith in the quarterback at the end of the day. And we
Oh, but you're
know,
getting it during film.
oh yeah, but who you are in that quarterback film room alone,
Yeah.
you need to take all responsibility. That
Oh
coach,
yeah.
that's on me. Like, I need to be better here, here, here. You need to break down the film yourself before you even walk in on Monday and already know
Yeah.
what coach is about to say. Because if you walk into that team meeting room and coach is, "Yeah, here's play 42, quarterback, what are we thinking here?" And you haven't even watched the film yet, it's going to show. You need to have an answer before you even walk in. That's the small things, and I say small things. Those are really the big things
The
that
big
are going to continue to have a team have faith in you as a player and as a quarterback. But yeah, man, going back to your thing of how do you move forward from it, you just have to digest the previous week, flush it, whether you fully process it or not. You have to move on. So it's one of those things of if you can process it and move it on quickly, great. If not, you can't let a previous week's performance carry on into the next week. You got to get it out of sight, out of mind. You're already on to the next week by your ground running on Monday.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like that you like we call them small things, but the small things add up into big things, and which will really cost you a game in the end. Like it's just, especially when you're trying to compete at a high level and win state championships.
Yeah.
But how long do you personally, or how long do you like? I know you said we're back, we flushed it, we're back Monday, ready for the next week. But just how much time are you spending after that Friday watching film on like Saturday and Sunday? And like, are you, like you said, you have to walk in there knowing, kind of already knowing what has happened in the game, already watching film. Like, are you walking in with 3 sheets of paper with like, Coach, here are my notes from the game. Like, hey, we need to. This is what I didn't like. This is what I do like. And then like you sit down and say, hey, these are some play calls that I think we could have made. Like, what is that kind of conversation like?
Yeah, so you need to be on the same page with your coach or your offensive coordinator or your play caller at the end of the day. Um, if you're not on the same page with him, you're going to struggle for sure because you're going to be walking into a meeting with coach. These are my notes, and he's going to be like, "Well, these aren't anything that we have discussed before. Why are you showing me this? I would rather you show me X, Y, and Z." So to be on the same page with your coach and to say like, "Hey, coach, these are the notes that I have. I know last week you said you wanted X, Y, and Z. Well, here's X, Y, and Z for this week. Okay, now we're able to move forward. Kind of having a better discussion and better understanding of what we're expecting out of a quarterback and out of an offense as a whole, week in and week
Yeah.
out. So, yeah, I know for me personally, in high school, I want to say by like my junior year, I was writing down notes. I would say like, hey, these are the 5 good things that I did. Here's 5 things that I can improve on in each game, whether it be one specific play, whether it be an idea as a whole, like, hey, my footwork was pretty bad this game. I need to focus on that better this week. Or, it's like, hey, this was a really good play call that I liked. I feel like we attacked this specific player or neutralized this kind of scheme that they had really well. Let's call these plays again whenever we see it again down the line. Stuff like that. That's really going to go far. because writing things down, it helps in mind memory, all that kind of stuff. But by the time you see it 4 weeks down the line, you've already done it
Yeah.
on the field once, you've done it in practice for the last 2 weeks going into it, and then you wrote it down as well. It's only going to help you farther and farther down the line.
Yeah, no, definitely. Man, but some other games that I would like to touch on just around the state. Dudley got their first win against Southeast or Northeast Raleigh. And Walkertown is quietly undefeated. And they're doing it. I gotta look and see how many points exactly they're averaging a game, but they're doing it putting up 35, 40, 50 points a game.
Ooh.
Um, and I'm not exactly sure what classification they fall in now with the realignment and everything, but to take a school that was two A
Yeah,
when they were 2A, and just to see a school at that level putting up that kind of points is big. But back to that, Dudley got their first win. Man, we don't expect Dudley to play like this. We don't expect Dudley to be week 4 talking about getting their first win of the season.
Yep.
I know the quarterback out there, Braden
Yep.
Jeffries. So what have you? I don't know if you've kind of spoken to him since the season started. Like, what's kind of the message for those guys over there?
Yeah, so I actually talk to Braden probably once or twice a week. We still stay in touch pretty heavily. So, I'm always kind of in his ear, or he's in my ear telling me stuff about what's going on.
Yeah,
But once kind of going back to the Mooresville and Hough scenario, you got to look at who you're playing and understand, like, hey, we might be 0-2 or 0-3 to start the season. If we can just find a way to turn this ship around, get a couple wins under our belt,
yeah,
and then continue that momentum into conference play, because I think we talked before where, hey, your non-conference games, if you drop one or two of them, is it the end of the world? No. Would you like to win them?
yeah.
Absolutely. It's only going to
That
help
was
you.
yeah,
But from the conference standpoint, you have everything that you want still in front of you, especially now with Dudley getting the first win on the season. They're looking stronger as they're getting into the middle of the season form here. So I'm excited to see how Dudley continues to either improve or kind of see how the rest of the games go for them the rest of the year.
yeah. No, I think that's a good point that you made, though. The conference, like, we like to see, just like in college football, we like to see these big out of conference games,
Mhm.
and sometimes we can overreact to wins and losses outside of the conference.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, it will kind of affect their seeding if they do make the playoffs, but it's really, you win your conference, you're in the playoffs.
Yep.
Let's we flushed the previous 3 games, and we have the rest of the season ahead of us. We can still our end goal is still there. It's not the end of the world. It's not the
Yeah.
end of the world,
Yeah.
man. But over in college football, man, it's week 3. It's finally week 3. But before I get into some of the games, before we get into previewing some of the games this week or today, we'll start with one hell of a game that was over in Winston-Salem Thursday between NC State and Wake Forest. Um, After Wake's offense was looking dormant the first 2 weeks of the season,
Yeah. Yeah.
they played a much better game against NC State. Brandon, what were some of your takeaways from that?
Yeah, so I was actually there for that game as a fan, and you could just tell the energy in that stadium was different. You could tell it was definitely a big in-state rivalry moment going on.
Yeah,
Crowd was packed, they were excited, and for Wake Forest, I think what kind of sparked their overall momentum in that game was the opening kickoff. They returned it
hmm
90 something yards for a touchdown, 15 seconds into the game. That is a huge momentum swing right out of the gate. And
yeah, no,
they luckily they held on to it for a while. Ended up going 14-0, and then there shortly after, NC State fought back, made it 14-14. But Wake led at the half 24-14. So they had a really good chance to go and win that game. Unfortunately for Wake, they ended up short in the second half, ended up losing that game.
yeah.
But it was a great game all the way around.
I think NC State quietly has one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC. He's very raw, talent wise. Last year he played well. He was a freshman. I believe he's a sophomore this year.
Hmm.
Um, but I think you can see him being a damn good football player. Um, but I'm not. Did Wake Forest make a quarterback change or something? Like what was the different? Or do you just think it was really just that kickoff that like, oh, we can really go out here and score? Because they had 10 points last week against I don't know some FCS team. I can't even tell you who they were playing. Like
In
I
week
was
one,
so
they played Kennesaw State, who was, I believe, going into the season ranked the last team in the entire country.
yeah Kennesaw. They beat Kennesaw State 10-9.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, they would go on to beat Western. They put up 42 on Western Carolina, but that's just because you had better athletes out there. I mean, you
yeah.
would think the same against Kennesaw, but yeah. So, my bad. Did they like have like they change have a quarterback change or something on offense? Like,
No, no. From my understanding, he's been the same guy through the first three games of the season so far. Obviously, he hasn't played great the first 2 weeks. Well, week one, obviously against Kennesaw, it's a bad game, right? No, no doubt.
yeah,
But it's hard to look at Western Carolina, like you said, because Wake Forest was up 35 points by the time they took the quarterback out. He had already accounted for 2 or 3 touchdowns of the game. But then you go into this game and you're like, okay, who's a team or who's a player that we're going to see at quarterback this week? And he came out on fire. He really did.
yeah,
He led a couple big drives. Unfortunately, he did throw a pick six on a screen pass, which been guilty. I've
yeah.
done that.
About a big man, the big
Yeah,
man,
but a big
big
man.
six.
It was that was a rumbling, stumbling dude. He was
Yeah,
40 or 50 yards out. He cribbed it. So shout out to him. But he was able to bounce back from it, and like I said, he was able to put up another 2 scoring drives before the half. Now second half, it definitely looked like a different team, just a different morale around that game from Wake Forest. So I think their big thing now is once we can get going, we need to maintain our momentum or just be able to fight back from adversity. And that way, next time they get into a situation where they're down, they can be able to fight back in the second half.
yeah, yeah. And I think this game does a lot for their confidence, just being able to actually go out there and score points.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, man, last night, Colorado just got absolutely dominated by Houston. I think they went to half. The score was 16-14. Colorado started the first quarter slow, got it going in the second. Their defense played pretty damn well. They were just on the field a lot. What really kept them in the game, being able to hold Houston to field goals instead of touchdowns. But I think Colorado had 4 offensive possessions in the second half.
Hmm.
Um, Houston came out in the third quarter, went on an 8-minute, almost 9-minute drive, and they only got a field goal out of it. But you can't get in before I get into it, Brandon. When you hear or see that, especially from this team that hasn't been able to score points, they played 3 quarterbacks last week and then started their third string this week. Like, what are
Hmm.
your kind of thoughts just for Colorado and on that game?
So I'm gonna go and look at what Dion said last week after the game. They got a win last week, and Dion in his press conference doing Dion thing, kind of, trying to flex and whatnot. But he said he had a dream about this third string quarterback leading them, and then he just kind of faded off. He didn't really say leading them to what. He just said, I had a dream about this quarterback, and just kind of left it at that. So hopefully the dream wasn't losing to Houston at home.
This isn't
But
a good Houston team. They have a good
no,
defense, but this is not a good Houston team. But continue.
no, their skill players should not have been beating up on Colorado players like they were last night. Hell, even in the trenches, they were doing what they were supposed to do to get some big time runs going. Even though if it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, or the very off one where they broke it off for 15, 20 yards, it was a pretty good offensive performance or a
Oh, I
bad
would say so.
defensive performance from Colorado.
Yeah, I think a part of it has to do with it. So they only gave up 16 points through the first half.
Mhm.
A lot of it had to do with like they gave up 19 halfway through the third quarter. Colorado gets the ball back in the third quarter. They possess the ball for 50, it was about 58, 59 seconds. You can't go three and out after giving up after your defense was just on the field for 9 minutes. You cannot go three and out.
Yeah.
And it has to do with play calling too, because I'm sorry, but we just went run, bubble screen. Like we went run, bubble screen. We're down. We're losing the game, and we went run, bubble screen. When I just think at this point, Pat Shermer has to go. There was a reason why he was fired from coaching in the NFL. There was a reason why he was not brought back. Pat Shermer is not a bad offensive coordinator. He's just not a good one. Like, and there was just a lot in that game where I don't know if I'm a Colorado fan watching that game, like if I'm a genuine Colorado fan watching that game last night, I don't know how many games you can win this year. That did not look like. I think defensively, that final score was a little bit skewed because they had two late rushing touchdowns in the fourth, which really opened up that score. But I'm not encouraged by what I saw, at least on the offensive end from Colorado. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the rest of their schedule here. I mean, they got Wyoming, BYU, and it looks like Utah, who is a top-ranked team right now. So, like you're saying,
BYU
it's
and
going to be
Utah is
tough.
probably going to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they got their work cut out for them the rest of the way. So we'll see how they bounce back, man. But like you're saying, they don't look good so far this season.
No, not at all. But man, let's look at some of the other games happening today. We got Clemson and Georgia Tech. I think that's going to be one hell of a game. Wisconsin and Alabama. Georgia, Tennessee was probably the game of the day. USF and Miami, Arkansas, Ole Miss. And it's week 3. Notre Dame's playing their first football game of the season. They're the number 8 team in the country. They're playing their first football game of the season with Texas A&M. Brandon, you pick a game. I got something to say about all these games. You pick a game. You pick a game.
Well, I'm gonna talk about this Notre Dame game. I mean, this is what you get when you're an independent team. You don't want to join a conference. You start doing this nonsense where you don't play anybody. Literally, you don't play anybody
No,
until week
literally
3.
don't.
Like you know,
Yeah.
we get on teams, like Wake Forest or Alabama or whoever that's going to go play 2 FCS teams to start the season. That's one thing, but to literally
We still
not
playing
touch
the
the
game.
football field until you're almost a month into your schedule, that's ridiculous. I don't care what anybody says. There needs to be some type of reprimations for Notre Dame
No,
or something. This is just blasphemy.
I 100% agree but I also, if you're a coach, why do you want this? You don't know what you have. You don't
At
know
all.
what you have, and you're going to just throw them out there and unfortunately, especially being an independent team, they shouldn't have made the damn playoffs last year. You can't lose too many games. You can't lose too many games, and if you open up the season with a loss, might as well throw it. I just imagine you wait until week 3, you lose the game, and now your season's over.
Done.
Now
Done.
your season's over.
And like you're saying, for conference winners in the new college football system, like for conference winners, you get an automatic bid. Well, if there's no conference, you have to win. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if you go undefeated or if you only have one loss. Like you have to win 95+% of your games to even have a shot. Luckily for Notre Dame, I think they have a pretty rich history of making the playoff or like having a really good seasons, which is going to help them. But if we think back
Yeah.
to teams like who was it, UCF in 2017 or 2018,
Oh, yeah.
who was undefeated for 2 seasons in a row in a conference,
And
but
then make
only
it.
was ranked as best of what? I don't even think they cracked top 15. in the country, but
Yeah,
that's
I
just
don't.
because they don't have the brand or the recognition as a Notre Dame does. So, if anything, Notre Dame kind of knows what they're doing and they're playing their cards right by not joining a conference. But if you take any other program that's independent, that is dominant, like Notre Dame is, they would not even be in the top 25 right now.
Agree. All I'm gonna say is if Alabama lose today, I'm gonna be saying go dogs for the rest of the season. All right.
Oh, they're going to get on you for that one, Jordan.
I I am. I'm gonna begin on Kalen DeBoer. I'm gonna put my foot so far up Kalen DeBoer's ass. He's not. And Brandon,
Oh,
I'm
shit.
telling you. But I think Clemson has a fight on their hands with Georgia Tech. I think what's going to be their saving grace is Georgia Tech can't damn throw a golf ball in the ocean. Hayes
Yep.
King, Jesus. But they can run. They can run, and they put the defense in bad positions. You have to be disciplined. You have to have eye discipline. If your eyes get in the wrong place, your your feet follow your eyes. Your eyes get in the wrong place, it's over for you. And
Done.
so, but I also think Clemson, that is the strength of Clemson football, is their defensive line, their linebackers, that front seven, and their ability to stop the run. So I think this is going to be a very interesting game. If Clemson pulls out this win, it makes Colorado's loss. I mean, if Georgia Tech pulls out this win, it makes Colorado's loss look better, but Colorado still fucking lost to Houston. So I think this is going to be interesting for the ACC to see who actually pulls out the ACC this year.
Hmm.
I mean, just looking at that Miami team, Miami and Carson Beck don't look bad. They look like a pretty good team. They're physical,
Yeah.
which you don't really hear from an ACC team. But I think we could see two teams from the ACC make the playoffs this year.
Oh, for sure. I think it's very doable for the ACC. Obviously, whoever ends up winning it gets an automatic bid. Whoever's going to be second, I think they have a very fair shot at making it. I think Miami's number 5 in the country right now, and Florida State's sitting at 12. So they have a really good
Florida
chance,
State,
both of
yeah,
those teams, to have a shot there.
yeah, no, definitely. I'm not even gonna touch on this Alabama Wisconsin game because if Alabama doesn't handle Wisconsin at home, Kalen DeBoer's job is already hanging in the balance.
I was about to say,
If this,
does he get fired after a Wisconsin loss?
oh, what? What? You
Gone.
fire the man, give him his money right then and there give him his money on the field, fire him on the field, and tell him don't ever come back to Tuscaloosa. Don't ever think
Yeah.
about this Alabama program. Take your ass back to Washington. You might not even be able to get that job back. But Georgia, Tennessee. Um, what do you think about this game? Because I think it's very interesting. Joey Aguilar has played well. Joey Aguilar is also going to be playing his first real defense. Joey Aguilar was a quarterback. What conference is damn App in? It just he left. You go from App to UCLA to Tennessee without playing a football game.
Yeah.
And now you're facing arguably the best defensive coach in college football.
Yep.
He's literally shut out Josh Heupel. He put up 40 on Josh Heupel last year and didn't allow him to score a point.
Yeah.
Kirby has dominated Josh Heupel in this Tennessee offense since he's gotten there. Like what are your take what do you think about this?
I mean exactly what you're saying, man. Joey Aguilar definitely is playing. He has to play the best game of his life to lead Tennessee to a victory
Yeah.
against this Georgia defense. I think with Joey Aguilar. So just backstory: App State, I believe, is still in the Sun Belt Conference, which is
Yes, yes.
it's a non-Power 4 conference or G5 or whatever you want to call it. Now they have historically have played really good football, collecting big time wins, but as far as I remember, I don't think Joey Aguilar was a quarterback that went out and beat Texas A&M.
I was thinking that. Yeah.
I don't think that was him. So this is good, like you're saying, this is going to be his first time against a real opponent. Obviously, like great, they go out and beat Georgia Southern. Great, but we're talking about the University of Georgia, like number 6 team in the country, University of Georgia. He's going to
where
play.
where
He's going to have his work cut out for him, and
yeah,
entire
where
team
your
will be off.
receiver doesn't have that matchup. Like your receiver's not better than that guy lined up across from him. The guy lined up across from him is as good, if not better. The guy lined up across from your left tackle is probably going to be a first round draft pick.
Yes.
That safety back there he's probably going to be a first round draft. So yes, I think this is very, very interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But man, let's pick games. Who you got between Georgia Tech, Clemson?
Georgia Tech, Clemson. I'm going to take Clemson on this. I think understanding what Georgia Tech does well, and like you said, Clemson's front seven is going to do, if they do what they're supposed to do, they should be able to minimize the amount of big runs that they have. If they can try to control the ball very well, obviously Georgia Tech is they do that anyway with just running the clock so much with how much they run the football. But if Clemson can at least minimize the damage all the way around, I think they should be able to handle this one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. What about Wisconsin at Alabama?
I'm gonna give it to Bama. I think
Shit, I don't know if I would.
I think Wisconsin is going to stick around for a little bit, but I think Bama's going to pull away in the second half.
Yeah, I hope so. I need this to be a this has to be a statement win. It's just that, I don't need a 24-17, 24-10. No, we have to score more than 30 points and allow less than 20.
Yeah.
I need to see an offense that can operate. And damn, niggas not fucking jogging on defense. Damn, just damn. I'll take Alabama, but damn. Oh man, all right. Georgia is going up to Tennessee. They're gonna be in good old Rocky Top. Man, who you got in this one?
So is this a night game for Tennessee? I don't know what time kickoff is.
No, they kick off at 3:30. Right after Alabama.
Yeah. Give me Georgia on that. If it was a night game, it'd be different, but Georgia midday and Rocky Top's not gonna have a problem.
Yeah, I don't even think this. So often we talk players, not plays, but in this game, I think it is plays, not players, and it's systems, and this is a coaching nightmare for Josh Heupel. He can't figure out Kirby Smart in that defense. Just can't. He can't do it. But we also talked about how the way they spread that offense out, the running lanes that they create, is not a pro style offense, which kind of hurts quarterbacks when they get into the NFL. And we've seen what we've seen with Hendon Hooker, for example. And I think that is why he's not really able to win some of these games, because Kirby's running a pro style defense and he's turning out 4, 5, 6 first rounders year in and year out. So
year in, year out since 2019. It's actually it's honestly ridiculous.
It's insane. It's insane. Oh man. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be right with you with Georgia. Now this USF Miami game. On paper, Miami is head and shoulders above USF, but I think just like last week when they went on the road and beat Florida, it's a pride thing for some of these guys. It's like, because they're usually grew up playing against each other. They're all from the same area for the most part. They're being recruited by the same, would like to be recruited by the same people. But right. If you're at USF, you probably didn't get that letter from Florida, that letter from Miami, from Florida State. So you take especially these South Florida games, these games personally. So who do you have in this one?
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting because exactly what you just said is 100% true. A lot of these kids, like you said, they want to end up at Miami or they want to end up at Florida State. But USF is no slouch now. I believe I was looking at it last night. I think they're number 18 in the country right now. Yeah. So this is a top 25 matchup. Anything can happen. I think Miami like you said, on paper should go out and dominate, which I think they'll end up with a win. I don't know if it's going to be a domination though. I'm going to give the edge to Miami if Carson Beck plays well. Now, if Carson Beck starts messing around, lets USF stick around, I think it might be. I think it might be on upset alert here.
Yeah, I'll give the edge to Miami, but like you're saying, it wouldn't surprise me at all if USF pulls out this win. And just for the sake of the ACC, I want Miami to win this game because I want more ACC teams in the playoffs. I don't want 12 teams and 8 to 10 of them are SEC and Big Ten. We're probably only going to get one Big 12 team. So, I'm going to go with Miami on this one. Arkansas and Ole Miss. Good old SEC rivalry. Brandon, who you taking this one?
I gotta see, is Arkansas ranked right now?
Nah, they're not. Arkansas though has. I don't want to like misspeak, but they haven't played bad football. Like they played pretty well through the first few weeks. I mean, but they've only played Alabama A&M and Arkansas State, so it hasn't been too much to really. It's kind of going to be their first challenger test of the season.
Yeah, yeah. I think from that alone, that kind of gives me the answer that I'm looking for. I think Ole Miss, who I believe, Ole Miss is what 20th or 21st, somewhere in there right now.
Right now, Ole Miss is 17th.
Okay, so they are. Yeah, so they're. Yeah, yeah. I think Ole Miss probably handles this one.
Yeah. Then we got Texas A&M at Notre Dame. I'm gonna take Texas A&M in this one.
It's going to be a matchup for sure. I think, like we were saying earlier, with Notre Dame not having any type of real football scrimmages or games going into week 3, almost week 4 of the season, it's going to be a toss-up. I'm actually going to stick with Notre Dame on this one. I think Texas A&M is going to give them a run for their money, though.
The Fighting Irish. How you feel about that little logo? They changed their logo. I don't know if I like that.
I got to see.
Because they're the Fighting Irish, not the you can't see it.
No.
Yeah, but they changed the little Irishman from like the fist up to him carrying the football, and it's just like I guess like, but they're the Fighting Irish, not the football Irish. You know, especially for a team that hadn't won a national championship since the '80s.
Oh Lord! Now I gotta wonder: is this logo only for the football team, or is this like a university-wide logo?
It has to be because we're not gonna say they're a football school, are we? Like, is that what we're? I mean, maybe
They don't have the national championships to back it up. Not yet.
No, they don't. Oh man! But now over in the NFL, it's week 2. It is week 2 of the NFL. My hopes going into Thursday night. My hopes going into Thursday night were here. Like, before I really get into it though, Brandon, do you think the Packers are really a Super Bowl contender? We talked about this last week, and I didn't think so. But
yeah,
you talked the Lions last week, Washington this week. These are two teams that expect to be competing for an NFC championship at the end of the season. And they came out and handled and dominated both teams, essentially on both sides of the line of scrimmage, offense and defense.
Yeah, so it's tough. It's real Super Bowl contender. I'm going to say right now, no.
And I want to agree with that.
Yeah,
I want to.
A lot of people are going to say the same thing, like, "Oh, I want to agree with that," but like. I personally, to really go out and win the Super Bowl, that means you're going to have to go and play a Buffalo Bills. That means you're going to have to go out and beat, not just play and beat a Bills, a Ravens, a Chiefs, and Eagles. Like, are the Packers, can they run the gauntlet in the playoffs to go get the job done? We will have to wait and see, but Is it great for them to collect wins early in the season? Yes, absolutely. But when injuries start building up, when
Yeah.
tiredness kicks in, when you're in week 14 of the season and you have to play the Bears twice in 3 weeks,
Oh,
are they going to be able to? Are they going to be able to bounce back from two losses? We'll have to wait and see.
well, I think you were talking about injuries piling up though. Like in that game Thursday night, I don't know how many times they mentioned third round, fifth round, seventh round picks from 2, 3, 4 years ago coming in the game and playing quality football.
Hmm.
They're developing players and they are doing what because what's his name broke his collarbone and it's like, okay, who are they gonna throw the ball to now? Shit, they damn found somebody to throw the ball to. The biggest thing about Jordan Love is the turnovers. We talk about it, turnovers, turnovers,
Yep.
turnovers. Jordan Love,
Yep.
get them out of your game, and you will put yourself in this. Maybe not Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is in the stratosphere by himself, but you'll start putting yourself in this Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, like type conversation. If you just stop turning the ball over, he gave Washington 3, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers.
Hmm.
After
Hmm.
what I saw from him Thursday night, I 100% believe in the Packers. Because my question with the Packers wasn't on offense; it was their secondary on defense. And bro, they're not the Packers defense stops the run, and then they just let the damn pass rushers go. Because it's not even Micah Parsons every play. Rashawn Gary, Michael Van Noy or Van Ness. These motherfuckers are coming out of everywhere, and I I don't I don't want to crown them already, but they've just been dominant through 2 weeks.
So I'm going to ask you a question here. And I actually saw John Gruden talk about this. He mentioned that he hated the short weeks. And what he means by short weeks is that you play a game on Sunday, you turn around and you have to play a game on Thursday.
Yeah,
That's very difficult for a team to do because you only get 4 days of preparation, rest, practice before you're literally kicking off at 7:30 on Thursday. Probably most of the time in a different state, different city. So you have to add the travel effect in there as well. But either way, I want to ask you, Jordan. He mentioned that the Packers are the youngest team on average in the NFL right now. So what that means for their advantage
yeah. My
is
Commanders
that
were the
they should be
oldest.
quicker. Well, the Commanders are the oldest. That's exactly what he said. So what weighs more? Is it the experience from the older teams? They don't have to practice as much. They have a lot of preparation already. Or is it the younger teams that are going to be quote unquote fresher because they're younger, their bodies are going to be, kind of help them out more from that aspect. Which one do you think is better?
I definitely think it's the being fresh and being able to play because hell, I'm 24 and damn and even in high school, I was hurting after games, but I wasn't hurting for real. Like I could get up on a Saturday, and I might be a little sore, but I'll be all right. Hell, now at 24, you damn sleep the wrong way. You wake up hurting. I mean, shit. Like, like I don't. So I definitely think that has something to do with it, though. Just being able because I think being able to we could play on Friday in high school, and sometimes we would have makeup games on a Monday or a Tuesday, and then we would play sometimes 3 games in a matter of not even 14 days.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks to the youth and being able to like the muscle recovery is better, faster. It puts you in a better position. I mean, and that's not even to talk about. Hell, now players are just faster, bigger, stronger, faster, and it's like you got um, what's his name out there, Bobby Wagner. Bobby
Hmm.
Wagner, you're lucky if Bobby's out there running a 4.6,
Yeah.
like, and it's just because of how long he's been in the league, and he still plays well, and he still has that mental fortitude. He knows, like he knows what's happening, what's coming, but you got to be able to do it. The mind is willing, but is the body able? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that is the I think the biggest thing. And so I would probably say that it's that youth is probably the biggest advantage.
Especially for defensive players. I mean, they have to bring
You
the
got to
hit
hit.
every play.
You have to hit. Whereas on
So
offense, we don't have to get hit every play.
you don't have to.
Yeah.
If you're a receiver, you can run a route, not get thrown the ball, and you're lining up in the next play, no worries. But
Walking
as a
right back to the
yeah,
yeah.
you're just jogging back. But as the defensive coach tells you, hey, we need 11 hats on the football. If you don't have at least five guys gang tackling somebody, it's an issue.
And that's
But
every
yeah,
play.
man, I think I agree with you. I think they're all professionals at the end of the day. So whoever is going to be the freshest going into that game is probably going to have the advantage. Experience or not.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Most definitely. What you were talking about your sorry Bears. Y'all got the Lions this week. Y'all got the Lions this week. After what the Lions showed last week, you think you guys can pull out the win?
Hopefully so. I think what I saw from the Bears in the first half of the
Yeah,
Minnesota game was actually pretty promising. I
yeah.
think Caleb Williams, especially on the first drive, went 6 for 6 for 50 something yards and a rush touchdown. I'd love to see it. I would love to see him sustain that for the rest of the games, or the rest of a game, and hopefully that would be enough for them to pull out a win. But Lions are coming with a vengeance after a loss. As we know, Ben Johnson, former offensive Lions coordinator, is now the Bears head coach. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup between these two. If I'm a biased Bears fan, I hope Bears. But if I'm being honest, I think the Lions get the win.
I I think what you were saying, Caleb Williams. Okay, biggest thing for Ben Johnson and his offense, you need a quarterback that can play on time and on rhythm.
Hmm.
Caleb Williams, you saw that in the first half. I think as Caleb Williams started to get sacked, started to take a few hits, that pressure started to get to him, and he was either looking to get the ball out of his hands quick, or if it wasn't there, he was looking to make a play happen. And I think that's what ultimately kind of cost him the game. Um, but I am encouraged as a football fan to see the progress that we've seen from Caleb Williams through one off season and with Ben Johnson. Does some of that have to do with the fact that the damn Bears had a defensive minded head coach after drafting a quarterback with the first overall pick? Maybe, maybe, maybe. but but they're in a new system, new scheme. I think they'll be fine. I hesitate to say this is a must win for the Lions, but I'm gonna take the Bears in this one. Honestly, I'll take the Bears.
Shout
Um,
out, shout out. Appreciate that. We'll take it.
oh man, and then another divisional matchup: the Giants and the fucking Cowboys. Golly,
gotta love,
ah,
gotta love it.
who who do you? I, I will start off by saying that the Cowboys might be better this year than I thought they were going to be.
Agreed. Agreed.
Now, could that also have been against a divisional opponent who they're very familiar with? Maybe when they played the Eagles last week, but I don't believe in the Giants whatsoever, especially after what they showed against the Commanders, and then for the Commanders to go do what they did Thursday night. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. Damn, I can't believe I just said that.
Oh man, that's funny. But I'm gonna agree with you. I don't think the Giants have enough offensive firepower or enough offensive scheme to go out and beat the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Now, Darren Bland is out for this game, so Cowboys secondary will be trying to fill in a gap. I don't think Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart or Jameis Winston, whoever ends up playing in this game, is going to have enough offensive firepower to expose that one particular weak spot for the entire game. Yeah, just off that alone, I think the Cowboys are going to be fine.
yeah. This is yeah, yeah, yeah. The If you're a Giants fan, how are you a Giants fan? Them bro, they weren't even good when they had uh Eli and Tom Coughlin. They just won. They just won a few Super Bowls. Like they won 2 Super Bowls. Granted, they
Yeah.
did win Super Bowls, but it's not like they were winning Super Bowls, winning 10 games in a season. It's not like
Yeah.
they were out here winning 12, 13, 14 games in a season.
No, no doubt.
This team, they've just struggled. I hope Jackson Dart is something, but because this Giants organization has just struggled since Tom Coughlin and Eli left. But man, staying in New York, we've got an interstate matchup. Out up there, well, I guess they'll be at MetLife, over in New Jersey.
Yeah.
But the Bills will come down from Rochester, going out to play the Jets. I was encouraged by what I saw from good old Justin Fields last weekend. You know, if you're a fucking Bears fan, I don't know why the hell you.
Oh,
you're
don't
okay
remind me, bro. Please don't remind me. Oh,
but
God.
but I had Justin Fields on my bench in fantasy football last week, and guess who I decided to play over him? Which was after I said
Jared
it,
Goff.
you're gonna call me stupid. Trevor Lawrence. I
Come on,
decided to
man.
play Trevor Lawrence. He played against the Panthers.
True.
He still didn't play well. But the Jets, man. What are you kind of thinking about this game?
This is going to be an interesting one if the Jets can just stay in the game. I think if they get down early, it's going to be tough for them to fight back. But like you said, I was very surprised by Fields. I think he accounted for a total of 3 touchdowns and close to, if not 300 plus yards against a Steelers defense who, as we know,
That was slow.
the Steelers are known for having good defenses. So
Yeah,
um, if
yeah,
if the Jets can put up a good 24, 28, maybe even 30 points, I think they can. I think they have a very real shot of winning this game. Now,
yeah.
Buffalo coming off a high-powered, offensive-powered game last week against the Ravens, do they have that in them to be in a shootout again and
Again,
come out with another win? That will be the question.
yeah. Who do the damn Bills have on offense to be scoring 40 damn points in a game?
Good luck, bro.
like
You got that barefoot receiver.
Shakir,
Yeah, yeah.
what's Shakir like? Dawson Knox? What are we talking about,
They got Keelan
bro?
Coleman out there, man, getting right, routing the
Damn,
boys
hell,
up.
he damn cooking Jair Alexander's ass. Jair's
Exactly.
still looking for him. Fuck, God Almighty. I I want to take the Jets, but I'll probably take the Bills in this one just because they got Josh Allen. Damn it, that's why I'll take the Bills in this one. They got
MVP
Josh
for a
Allen.
reason. MVP
Yeah.
for a reason.
Oh man, and then the game of the week in the NFL: Eagles, Chiefs. Chiefs better show something. They ain't necessarily got to win this game, but damn, they better show something better than what they did last week. Who you got in this one, Brandon?
Yeah, just keep it short and sweet. I think the Eagles are the better team here, but they are playing in Arrowhead, which is going to make a difference. I think the Chiefs fans in that environment is going to be rocking, but it's not like Jalen Hurts doesn't have ice cold, isn't ice cold in his veins. So I'm going to take the Eagles on this, especially now that Jalen Carter is hopefully not going to spit on Patrick Mahomes before the
Somebody.
game. So hopefully he doesn't, and we'll see an Eagles win.
No, yeah. I'll take the Eagles, but the Chiefs have to make this a ball game.
Yeah, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes has to throw the ball further than 10 yards down the field. Like, actually, that's something very interesting. I think Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs organizations are both kicking themselves right now.
I agree.
And I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. The Bucks on Monday night. We have 2 Monday night games. I don't know how I feel about a damn NFL game coming on at 10 o'clock. Am I upset by it? Not necessarily, but we'll get to that game. Texans, Bucks go down to Houston, take on the Texans. I hope CJ Stroud play. I just want them to be good this year. But who you got in this game, Brandon?
Well, before I even dive into the game, I want to say this is a phenomenal logo here for the Buccaneers. They need to
The
bring this
Bucks.
back. Yeah, that's a great logo. But Tampa Bay has been a very consistent team over the last like three or
Yes.
four seasons now. Now that they found Baker Mayfield, and obviously they've had the same head coach for they haven't had much coaching turnover rather. Um, so it's gonna be interesting. I think they're gonna scheme the Texans well, and the Texans who are coming off a rough. Well, I mean, we say rough. They still made the playoffs, right? But it wasn't what
Yeah.
we expected out of them. Um, Coming off a rough season, it's going to be a shootout. I think. I think Texans, if they don't come out and play their A game, I think the Buccaneers take this. But if they come
Oh yeah.
out and do what they're supposed to do, I think the Texans could win this one in a close one, probably a one-score game.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 1,000%. I don't know if I want to. Once again, it's just I don't want to say some of these games are must wins for teams, but it's hard going into a season 0-2.
Yeah.
It's hard starting the season 0-2. And after losing to the Rams last week, I just don't know that the Texans can lose again. So yeah, if they don't come out and play good football, the Bucks will beat them. But I'll take the Texans in this one.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs, not fucking Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Chargers, Raiders. I was encouraged by what I saw from Herbert last week. And the Raiders, Gino looks like he's on a revenge tour. Him and Pete Carroll. I don't think Pete Carroll liked that he wasn't in the league last year.
I agree.
So yeah, just what are your like when you look at this game? What are some things that you kind of stick out to you?
Well, first off, going back to what you were saying, the kickoff time, 10 p.m. This is definitely only for West Coast people. I will
Yes.
take my happy ass to bed and
Just
happily go to
like-
sleep. People have work on Tuesday, so I will be one of those people.
Exactly.
Um, but
Exactly.
no, I agree. I think Mr. What If Justin Herbert himself is going to
Mr.
have
What If. I
another
like
challenge
that.
or another opportunity to prove himself and turn Mr. What If into Mr. I Am. So we'll see. But yeah, like you said, Pete Carroll is a great offensive mind. Has played or excuse me, coached in several Super Bowls. Has plenty of coaching experience. I think he's year 50 now of coaching. Like there's anything that he hasn't seen. No, the answer is no to that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but overall, I think the Chargers coming off a big win in Brazil against the Chiefs are going to handle business against the Raiders here.
Yeah. No, I definitely think they'll win this game. Yeah. It's just Pete Carroll isn't gonna like it because he's had quite a few matchups with I believe this Jim over there
Yes,
in LA.
yes.
Yeah, he's had quite a few games going back to college days against Jim. So I think that'll be a good matchup, man. You got anything else before we get out of here?
I just want to give one quick shout out. Division 3 Adrian knocked off Division 1 FCS Valpo last week in an ugly 10-7. D3 knocking
Whoa,
out FCS.
D3, that's a big win. That's a big win for the program, man.
Yeah. Oh, big time. So I don't know. I've never heard of Adrian to be honest with you beforehand, but shit, I'll be following them after this. So we'll see how the rest of the
That's how
season
you know
goes.
Brandon's a real football junkie.
Got my D3 over here. Let's go.
Hey man, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button on YouTube. Hey, in the comments, drop what game you want for next week's game of the week. Oh man, but we'll be back next week with more football, high school, college, NFL. Man, we'll see y'all again. Hey, next Saturday, same time, same place.